Welcome back here to John J. O'Neill Gymnasium. Rising Tide and Nantucket Girls Basketball set to get underway in just about a minute or two. Nantucket comes into tonight's matchup with a 4-3 record on the season. They beat Cape Cod Academy last night 41-33. Second of 4 games this week for the Whalers, and they will be with Captain Maddie Lombardi. She suffered a mild concussion last week, but has been cleared to play today, so that's a welcome addition to the Nantucket squad. Maren Mooney and freshman Grace Schroeder have also picked up the slack on the offensive side. They led the Whalers' attack with 13 points, 11 points respectively in the win yesterday against CCA. The Whalers will look for more good shooting from these two later on this evening. Coach Fraker has opened up the offense just a bit as Nantucket has been launching from three-point land since she took over, and it was needed as the Whalers looked sluggish in their first quarter last night. They were outscored 12-5, but the shots began to fall, and they were able to outscore the Seahawks last night 36-21 in the remaining 3 quarters to earn their 4th win. The Herons will need to value their possessions as they have struggled to score, averaging less than 25 points per game. And this was the case in the meetings a year ago as Nantucket dominated both meetings, outscoring them 88-34. It is a new year. We'll see who comes out on top very soon right here on the NSC and NCTV as we have another Cape and Islands League game tipping off in just a few moments. Starting lineups coming up in just a moment. Pretty decent crowd on hand for this Tuesday afternoon game. Glad you could join us here on the Nantucket Sports Connection and NCTV. We've got another game coming up for you on Friday and Saturday, girls basketball. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the John J. O'Neill Gymnasium for this afternoon's matchup between the Rising Tide Herons and your Nantucket High School Whalers. Nantucket High School, the Cape and Islands League, and the MIAA ask that all in attendance join the coaches, players, and officials in practicing good sportsmanship in the support of your teams and your conduct towards players, officials, and coaches and other spectators. Violators to the Spectator Code of Conduct will not be tolerated and may result in dismissal from tonight's game. Thank you for your cooperation. And now for this afternoon's starting lineups, beginning with the Herons from Rising Tide. Starting for Rising Tide, a freshman, number 10, Abby Holgate. A senior, number 11, Edie Picard. A co-captain, junior, number 13, Liv Miranda. A freshman, number 23, Dylan Mason. And also a freshman, number 25, Maggie Mason. And now the starting lineup for your Nantucket Whalers. A junior, number 1, Maren Mooney. A sophomore, number 10, Madden Myers. A senior, number 22, Manny Tavares. Also a senior, number 23, Alana Ferreira Ludvigsen. And making her return in the starting lineup, a senior, number 33, Maddie Lombardi. The officials for this afternoon's matchup from the MIAA are Justin Spur and Joe Potska. At this time, we ask that all please stand if you are able and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. So 8 minutes up on the board. Nantucket looking for a repeat performance after they beat Cape Cod Academy. You remember they were down early in the game yesterday, 12-5 after 1 quarter of play, but came back for a 41-33 victory over Cape Cod Academy. And they look to improve on their 4-3 record. With a victory today over Rising Tide, they come in with a record of 2-6. Along with Chris Morris and Charles Douglas and Sean Davis, I'm DC Collins. We are joined in just a moment by Colby Lucas. His game got postponed today, so that's why he is joining us here up on the bleachers at John J. O'Neill Gymnasium. Pretty fortunate you didn't have to make that boat trip, Colby?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, got canceled a little bit late, but, you know, we're going to be ready when it gets made up, so.
So here we go, 8 minutes up on the board. We are underway as Nantucket in their home white uniforms. They will be going right to left. Rising Tide comes away with the opening tip. They are in their blue uniforms with white numerals and letters. Out of bounds, and we go the other way. So the first turnover of this afternoon's ball game, and Nantucket will have it. Nantucket fortunately has number 33, Maddie Lombardi, the senior, one of the co-captains here, back in the lineup. Remember, she suffered took a hit on Friday and was out for a few games, but back in the lineup now. Fires the shot, and that's no good. And we will go the other way with Rising Tide having it. So, Colby, yesterday a slow start for Nantucket, and then they just started opening it up on offense, firing the 3-ball, and a couple of those fell, and they got some lucky foul shots too.
Yeah, it's good to see the 3-ball falling for them. It's definitely a change, so they can keep that 3-ball up. I think they can win a lot of games going forward this year. So
there's Miranda with 2, so a 2-point lead for Rising Tide as we're 45 seconds into this one. Rising Tide going with the 2-3 zone defense. Here's Ludvigsen for 3. That hits the side of the backboard, no good. And a race to grab the rebound. It's still on the floor. Nantucket controls it as Tavares now will pick it up. Shot clock down to 10 seconds. Ludvigsen kicks it off to Lombardi. She'll fire the 3. That one short off the front of the rim, no good. And the Herons grab the rebound as we go the other way. With it is Mason. Mason in the front court. Now Rising Tide gives it off to Miranda. Off to Maggie Mason. Number 23, Dylan Mason, Maggie Mason, both freshmen. They are twin sisters. 10 on the shot clock for Rising Tide. Bounce pass inside, shot thrown up. That's no good there by Picard. Off the back iron, and here comes Tavares away with the rebound. Quickly up ahead, Ludvigsen, 1-on-3. Tries to take it all the way, kicks it back out to Tavares. Some tic-tac-toe passing. Here's Ludvigsen for 3. And that one hits the back iron, no good. Rebound controlled by Rising Tide. Here's Miranda in the front court, whistle on a foul though. And that will go against Myers, her first and the team's first. 2-0 Rising Tide with 6:05 remaining here in the first quarter. Inbounds pass, this one goes to Miranda. And Tavares gets a hand on it, knocks it out of bounds, but it will stay with the Herons. Rob Lombardi is the head coach for Rising Tide. Whalers are coached by Jillian Fraker, who took over a couple of games ago, midway through the season. This is Miranda with the basketball, fires the shot off the side of the rim, no good. Rebound hauled in by Mooney for the Whalers. Quickly up ahead. This is Myers with it, stops, throws up a shot, a little too strong, and the rebound is controlled there by Mason for Rising Tide. Off to Dylan Mason. Battle of 23s there as Ludvigsen is all over her. That shot off the front of the rim, no good. Battle for the rebound, it comes down to Picard. Reset of the shot clock, but a whistle and a traveling violation against Rising Tide, and we will go the other way. Still a 2-0 lead for the Herons. 5:15 remaining here in the first quarter. Ludvigsen with it for Nantucket. Over to Tavares. Again, a 2-3 defense by the Herons. Here's Lombardi. She'll try a 3. That one too strong off the side of the rim. And the rebound pulled in by Picard, knocked out of bounds. It will stay with Nantucket. Fresh shot clock, 35 on it for the Whalers. So they're getting some good looks, Colby, early on, just not hitting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also the Whalers have a pretty good size advantage, so I think if they can take advantage of that good shot there by Ludvigsen, but if they can take advantage of that, get some rebounds, get some second chance points, I think they can really capitalize off of that.
Ludvigsen gets the first 2 points for the Whalers, so we're tied at 2. Now some pressure in the backcourt, whistle on a tie-up, and the possession arrow points the way of the Whalers. We saw this last night with Nantucket trying to pressure Cape Cod Academy in the backcourt. It was affected. Now, they tried that same scenario on defense with Hull, and Hull kept beating them on Saturday with that home run pass.
Right.
And that's why Nantucket lost big time. That shot off the rim, no good. Rising Tide with the rebound. Here's Tavares. She's trying to guard Miranda. Nantucket in the zone defense as well. Almost looks like a box and one. Almost a reach in there by Lombardi. Cross-court pass to Miranda. 13 to shoot for Rising Tide. Off to the far side. Here's a 3-ball by Mason. That's up and good. Dylan Mason connects. And the freshman puts the Herons on top. 5-2 with 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Ludvigsen with the Euro step, and she dragged her foot a bit too much. Travel with the basketball and a turnover. So we'll go the other way. Substitution now as Lombardi comes out for Nantucket. Grace Schroeder, the freshman who had a couple of three-pointers yesterday for Nantucket, pretty effective on offense and defense, checks in as the Whalers show some pressure in the backcourt. Ludvigsen all over Mason, and a timeout called by Rising Tide as they struggle to get the ball across the half-court stripe. So we'll keep it right here. 3:55 to go in the first quarter. A 5-2 lead for Rising Tide over Nantucket. And Colby, just what you've seen early on is that we talked about a few moments ago. Nantucket getting those shots, just not falling. I'd like to see them maybe a bit more aggressive on the rebounds. Yeah,
definitely. You know, obviously they hold that size advantage. If you get some second chance, looks, that's huge. The more shots you get up, the better. I think defensively they've played pretty solid to start. I think their full court press has worked well. They've forced some turnovers, but definitely looking to get some more rebounds, get some more second chance points.
Only one senior on the Rising Tide squad, and that is Edie Picard, number 11, a 5'8 senior. She's a co-captain along with Liv Miranda. But the rest are freshmen.
Yeah.
And sophomores.
Yeah, pretty young team for Rising Tide this year.
Yeah, they graduated a lot of seniors last year, struggling a bit with the rebuilding process this year. So after the timeout called by Rising Tide, 29 seconds on the shot clock. They've got 4 left for the game. Nantucket with all 5. They do get it over the timeline. This is Maggie Mason with it. Over to Filion. Back to Hurst, who just checked in, number 3 for Rising Tide in blue. Right-hand corner, it's Picard. Gives it over to Mason. 7 on the shot clock. Guarded there by Myers. 4 on the shot clock. And now Maggie Mason has to fire up a prayer. That's an air ball, shot clock violation. And we will go the other way as Nantucket will check in Adney Brannigan. And Tavares will head to the bench.
Great defensive effort there for the Whalers.
Yeah, and it all started after they had that court pressure in the backcourt where
right,
it forced
exactly.
Rising Tide to call the timeout, and they really just couldn't get in sync on offense the rest of the possession.
Yep, slowed them down for sure.
So Nantucket still trailing 5-2, 3:10 to go in the first quarter. Shot thrown up there by Mooney off the side of the rim on the backboard, no good. Rebound is knocked out of bounds by Myers. So Rising Tide will get it underneath their own basket. And again, some pressure by Nantucket in the backcourt. This time Picard can't move because it's a dead ball. Does manage to inbound it. Gets it to Maggie Mason, the 5'5 freshman. Brannigan guarding her as she gets across the midcourt stripe. Now they double team her. Stops the dribble, and a whistle and a foul called against Nantucket. So the strategy there, guard them shirt to shirt, and then as soon as the Rising Tide player gets into the front court, trap her, try to cut her off, stop the dribble, see if she'll turn it over.
Yeah, half-court trap defense there. It worked pretty well until the end. Just got to keep your hands up, but I really like the effort there for the Whalers.
Foul was called against Nantucket's Brannigan, her first, team second. No fouls whistled against Rising Tide yet. Turnover, though, and the Whalers will have it. Nantucket still down 5-2. 2:45 remaining here in the first quarter at home. 2-3 zone defense by Rising Tide. Here's Brannigan with it, gets double teamed. Brannigan looking for someone to pass to, find Ludvigsen, and a whistle and a foul. This will be against Riley Barry, this freshman for Rising Tide, and that's the first one whistled against the Herons here in the first quarter. 2 subs in for Rising Tide as Abby Holgate checks in and also Liv Miranda checks back in. Ludvigsen fires the deep 2. That's off the top of the backboard and goes out of bounds. So Rising Tide will get the ball the other way. And now checking back in is Maddie Lombardi, the senior for Nantucket. Ludvigsen will take a seat on the bench.
Whalers obviously starting slow offensively, but, I think just getting those shots up is important, They'll fall eventually. Just got to keep working on the, the rebounds, defense, and the shots will come.
Almost a carbon copy of what we saw last night where Nantucket trailed 12-5 against Cape Cod Academy after the first 8 minutes. Whistle and that ball is knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Rising Tide. 21 seconds still on the shot clock. Herons to inbound in the corner. They get it into Miranda. Up top this time to Fillion. Now to Miranda once again. She's guarded there by Schroeder. Bounce pass to the foul line to Picard. Knocked away, and it's taken away by Nantucket. Here's Brannigan with it. Has some help if she wants it. Passes it off to Schroeder. Fires the 3. Left that one short. Back to Schroeder. Fires another 3. That one even shorter than the first as it hits the bottom of the net. Goes out of bounds. But the officials will say it was last touched by Rising Tide, so Nantucket will still have possession.
2 good looks there. Don't mind those shots at all.
Make it a third in a row for Schroeder. That one left short as well. And now a battle for it on the ground. Lombardi takes it. Here's Lombardi. She'll fire the 3. That one is good as Nantucket connects. Maddie Lombardi, her first points in a while. Remember, she was out for the last few games. And now we're tied at 5 with 90 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. And a whistle and a foul. And that will go against Schroeder.
And the rebounding effort there on that last possession was huge because with that offensive rebound, they were able to get another shot up. So just really emphasizing the importance of rebounds in this game.
Yeah, 4 straight shots for Nantucket, including the one off the inbounds pass. Foul was called against Schroeder of the Whalers, her first, team's third. Now in the front court with it for Rising Tide. This is Miranda dribbling around. It's knocked away. Brannigan has it, stops the dribble. Now over to Myers. Now back to Lombardi in the front court. 2-3 zone defense again by the Herons. Lombardi gives it off to Brannigan. Now top of the key, that 3 ball way off by Mooney. Nantucket, though, grabs the rebound. Loses it, though, and the Herons pick it up with 50 seconds remaining. Miranda dribbles to the near side of the court, passes up ahead into the front court. Here's Picard with it, guarded by Schroeder. And a shot, quick one by Miranda. That misses everything, and Nantucket has it the other way. They've got numbers 2-0. Here's Lombardi, straight to the hole. Layup is good. Nice breakaway by the Whalers, and Lombardi with the composure to convert. And Nantucket has their first lead here this afternoon, 7-5, as we're down to 22 seconds to play in the first quarter. Again, pressure by the Whalers in the backcourt. Ball knocked away, but it's picked up by Picard for Rising Tide. Shot clock turned off so the Herons can play for the last shot on this possession. Down to 8 seconds, and a whistle and the ball goes out of bounds, and now Nantucket will have it. And some more substitutions as Kelly checks in. And also Barry checks in for Rising Tide. 7.3 seconds left. Lombardi touches it. Down to 5 seconds. Lombardi, top of the 3-point arc, fires the shot. Back rim, no good, and the rebound falls into the hands of Miranda. And the buzzer sounds, and that's where we'll end it here at the end of the first quarter. Nantucket was trailing for most of it. They end the first quarter with the lead. 7-5 Whalers over Rising Tide. Start of the second quarter comes your way right after these messages from our sponsors here on the NSC and NCTV.
The Nantucket Sports The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSE provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Myrick O'Connell, attorney at law, providing legal services for Massachusetts residents for over a century. Learn more at myrickoconnell.com.
Along with Colby Lucas, I'm DC Collins. Chris Morris behind the controls. Also, Charles Douglas and Sean Davis on camera. 8 minutes up on the board. Set to start the second quarter here at John J. O'Neill Gymnasium on Nantucket. Whalers with a 7-5 lead over Rising Tide. Maddie Lombardi back of the starting lineup. A nice wish and a prayer for Nantucket as she has 5 of their 7 points so far. That shot partially blocked. Still with Rising Tide, though. They kick it back out. Shot clock down to 17 seconds. Dribbling, stopping the dribble is Picard. Gets it off to the right-hand side. Mason goes up with a shot. That's way off, no good. Gets her own rebound, though. Didn't hit the rim, so the shot clock down to 5. And now the ball's still on the floor and a whistle, and we get a jump ball. And so Nantucket will have it on the alternating possession arrow.
They're only leading by 2, but it really seems like they're controlling the pace, both on offense and defense, putting a lot of pressure on Rising Tide on the defensive end. And on offense, they're just playing at their own pace, which is good.
Yeah, trying to confuse Rising Tide. Herons having a tough time in the backcourt. Here's a 3 ball. That one goes off the side of the rim, no good. Nice offensive rebound as it's chased down by Brannigan. Fresh shot clock for Nantucket. Lombardi throws up a shot. That rolls off the rim, no good. And Rising Tide now controls the rebound. Nantucket will back off and pick up at half court. Here's Mason in the front court, guarded by Schroeder. Bounce pass back to Picard. 6:45 to play in the second quarter. Nantucket holding on to the 2-point lead, 7-5. 11 on the shot clock for the Herons. Off to the right-hand side, still beyond the arc. Herons using the perimeter. Here's a long 3. That's off the side of the rim. Mason shot that one. Nantucket grabs the rebound. Brannigan, the senior, with it. Off to Lombardi. Lombardi holds at the top of the key. Over this time to Schroeder. That 3 ball off the side of the rim, no good. Whistle and another jump ball situation. And Rising Tide will have it. And now Garcia will come in for Nantucket. Myers goes to the bench. Also, Picard goes to the bench for Rising Tide. A little bit of pressure for the Whalers in the backcourt. Tapped away there by Schroeder. Mason, though, gets past her and into the front court. Now this is Maggie Mason with it. Maggie Mason, the freshman, wearing number 25. Dylan Mason, her twin sister, wearing number 23 in blue. And looks like Rising Tide stepped on the sideline, so another turnover. And the Whalers end up with a basketball. Lombardi brings it across into the front court. To Brannigan. Here's a 3 by Schroeder. Side of the rim, no good, and the rebound goes out of bounds. And Rising Tide will have it. So the Whalers certainly not afraid to fire away from long distance early on. It's just they're not having luck like they did yesterday.
And they'll fall eventually, so I don't mind those shots at all. You know, we're taking much, higher percentage shots than, Rising Tide, which is good. So just got to stick with it.
Trapped to the backcourt, and another turnover by Rising Tide. Barry got caught, and none of her teammates came back to help her out. So a traveling violation, and Nantucket will have it.
Yeah, great defense there by the Whalers.
Lombardi to inbound as Fillion set to check back in for the Herons at the next whistle. And now pass that gets deflected right into the hands of Mooney. She lays it up and in for 2 for Nantucket. So now a 9-5 lead for the Whalers. 5:28 to go here in the first half. Rising Tide will inbound on the sideline. They do get it into Mason. Almost gets triple teamed for a moment. Now off to Dylan Mason. She stops just beyond the three-point arc. Over to Maggie Mason, her twin sister. And now reaching in is Lombardi. Knocks it away momentarily and deflects the pass. And here comes Nantucket. Up ahead, the pass goes, but a whistle and a foul. But a holding foul against Rising Tide's Dylan Mason. And that'll be the first called against either team here in the second quarter. For Dylan Mason, that's her first personal.
Whalers have really done a great job forcing turnovers as well. It's going to be a big factor in whether they can pull away here.
Yeah, there's lots of pressure, one-on-one pressure. What I would love to see, and another whistle, and we've got 3-second violation against the Whalers, so it'll go the other way. As soon as Rising Tide, as they get trapped, that one-on-one defense, Whalers send somebody else over, double teamer, try to cut off all the passing lanes. They've got the speed to do that if they stay close enough.
Absolutely.
So here's Dylan Mason being guarded shirt to shirt by Schroeder. Gets past her, moves into the front court, now a whistle, and this will be a foul against Canty, who just checked in a moment ago for her first minutes for Nantucket. And immediately gets called for the personal foul. So that's her first and the team's first. 2 more substitutions for Rising Tide. 4:42 left in the first half. Nantucket holding on to a 9-5 lead. Inbounds pass. Layup is off the rim. No good. Oh, beautiful opportunity there for Miranda. Couldn't handle it. Here comes Nantucket the other way. That layup is left short there by Schroeder. Back up. Air ball. Turnaround shot is blocked. Garcia got it rejected. Now to Ludvigsen, and that one is good. A long 2 from the left-hand side. And Nantucket trying to pull away here as they have an 11-5 lead. In the second quarter, we're down to 2:15 to play.
A couple big offensive rebounds there. Helped get the open look, so great rebounding by Nantucket.
Yeah, keeping the possessions alive.
Absolutely.
This pass knocked away again. Here's a steal. Brannigan in all alone. The layup is good. And now Nantucket opens up an 8-point lead with 3:50 to go here in the second quarter. It's been all Whalers so far here in the second. Rising Tide looking to stop the bleeding here. Miranda has it. Almost knocked out of bounds. Gets it back to Hurst. Now to Miranda. Nantucket with a man-to-man defense, and that bounce pass is intercepted by Garcia. Quickly up ahead. Another outlet pass. Ludvigsen, layup is good. And a timeout called by Rising Tide. It's been all Whalers here in the second quarter. As you see the replay, Ludvigsen with the layup, and Nantucket has jumped out to a 10-point lead. We will take a break and be back with more. 3:24 left to go in the first half. Whalers 15, Rising Tide 5. Back after this on the NSC and NCTV.
NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
Back here at John J. O'Neill Gymnasium, Nantucket has pulled out to a 10-point lead. Whalers 15, Herons 5. 3:20 remaining here in the second quarter. Rising Tide has yet to score a point here in the second quarter. We're down to 3:13 to go. That shot way off the mark, no good. And here comes Nantucket again. Lombardi with it in the front court. Lombardi lobs it in, layup no good. Canty tried to get it up there, but she steps on the baseline. And it's out of bounds.
Yeah, good look there for the Whalers. Looked like she may have gotten fouled there, but either way, not a bad look.
Mansfield comes in. Eliza Mansfield comes in for Brannigan. Mansfield seeing her first action here with 3 minutes to go here in the second quarter. And ball knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Herons. Rising Tide down to 3 timeouts left for the game. Nantucket with all 5. 1 foul for each team here in the second quarter. Nantucket sticking with the man-to-man defense. In the right-hand side, this is Miranda with it and a whistle and an offensive foul. Another turnover by the Herons, and Nantucket will have it the other way. That's called against Miranda. That's her first and the team's second. Again, Rising Tide yet to score a point here in the second quarter. Over the timeline, here's Ludvigsen. Off to Mansfield. Garcia has it, guarded by Miranda. Gets it off to Ludvigsen. She stops her dribble. Bounces to Garcia, throws up the quick shot, back of the rim, no good. And Rising Tide with a rebound. This is Miranda with it in the front court, guarded by Lombardi. Lombardi gets a hand on the pass, deflected. Who's got it? It turns into Nantucket Whalers basketball. Ludvigsen with it, driving to the hoop, throws up a wild shot, no good. Looked like Mason got a hand on that. Rebound opportunity, though, and up and in for Quinn Canty. So the freshman adds 2. And Nantucket now on a roll, 17-5. They lead Rising Tide with 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. And another turnover. And so the Whalers will have it.
Yeah, Nantucket is capitalizing off of this strong defense. At this point, it's like they're consistently forcing turnovers, which is just huge.
Lombardi's 3, that rattles out, no good. Rising Tide has it, quickly up ahead. Hurst with it on a breakaway, loses control, and the Whalers regain possession. Ludvigsen up ahead, Garcia wide open, throws up the shot, that's good. And another freshman scores for Nantucket. That's Garcia with 2. And now a 19-5 lead for the Whalers, 12-0. They are outscoring Rising Tide here in this second quarter. We're down to 90 seconds remaining. Herons trying to stop the bleeding. Ball gets knocked out of bounds, and Rising Tide will have possession. So, again, we talked about the slow start for Nantucket, not only in the whole game, which they got destroyed. We don't want to talk about that game, but yesterday against Cape Cod Academy started out very slow. They were trailing 12-5. Second quarter, they came back, took a 1-point lead into the locker room at halftime. But here, it's dominance so far in this second quarter.
Yeah, even coming out, they were struggling a bit from the field, but defensively they've been strong all game. So really would just like to see that all game as they force another turnover there off a shot clock violation.
Great defense by Nantucket again as they force a turnover with a shot clock violation.
Absolutely.
And Rising Tide just does not have an answer here. Again, they've yet to score a point here in the second quarter as we've got less than a minute remaining. Still in the 2-3 zone defense for the Herons. Mansfield had it for a moment. Back to Ludvigsen. To Lombardi. She'll fire the 3, top of the key. Back of the rim, no good. Battle for the rebound. It's on the floor. Lombardi has it. Got tied up there with Picard. And a whistle will cause a jump ball. Nantucket will still have it 32 on the shot clock. Lombardi calling the play. Gets it into Canty. Ludvigsen, 3-ball, way off the mark, no good. Ball loose, and Rising Tide has it. And now almost another tie-up, and it is a tie-up. And the jump ball will point the way of Rising Tide. Shot clock turned off as the Herons can hold for the last possession. Again, they've yet to score a point here in the second quarter. Mason gets stopped. Ludvigsen all over her, down to 26 seconds to play. And here's another steal. Garcia has it. Garcia moving in. And the left-handed layup hits the bottom of the backboard. No good. Ripped away there by Picard. Down to 15 seconds left. And a whistle and reach-in foul against the Whalers. And they will run the clock to 11.8 seconds. Foul was against Lombardi. Her first, both teams with 2. Again, shot clock turned off, final 10 seconds to go in the first half. Rising Tide looking for their first points here in the second quarter. That one is up and in. Dylan Mason puts the Herons on the board, as the buzzer sounds and both teams will go to the locker room. Almost a complete dominance performance by the Whalers as they take the lead 19-7 into the locker room at halftime. And Kobe, you like to see what happened in the second quarter with Nantucket. The defense causing some turnovers, causing some shot clock violations. Might need to work on the fast breaks a little bit and just composing themselves and slowing it down. But you got to be happy with a lead of a dozen at halftime for the Whalers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the defensive intensity has been huge. And as a result of that, they've gotten a lot of turnovers, a lot of fast break looks, which I think is huge for this team. I think they've scored most of their points off the fast break, so if they can continue to do that, I think, especially going forward in the season, I think, they can pick up some big wins.
Yeah, we mentioned on Saturday they got smacked around a little bit with that loss to Hull, but yesterday coming back after being down in the first quarter and winning that game by 8 points, 41-33, trying to build on this against the Herons team that just, couldn't get anything going except for 2 points in the final minute of the second quarter.
Right.
So we will take a break and be back, recap the first half, and bring you third quarter action from John J. O'Neill Gymnasium. Right now at halftime, it's Nantucket 19 and Rising Tide 7. You're watching Nantucket Girls Basketball here on NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection. We're back after this.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSE provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Myrick O'Connell, attorney at law, providing legal services for Massachusetts residents for over a century. Learn more at myrickoconnell.com. NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
First hoop, Simpson gathers for Nantucket. Francis over to Aguilar. He'll look for three. Got it! Huge shot from Cup.
Nantucket Ice is about community, camaraderie, confidence, jumping in, and being part of a team. Falling, but getting back up.
And Whalers control. Quick shot.
It's about being part of the culture, friendships, experience. But ultimately, it's about being on the ice. Located in the heart of the island, it's about being a future for our youth, our families, our community. Come join us, be a part of our community.
It's over! It's over! The Whalers win! The Whalers win!
Nantucket Sports Connection and NCTV over the past few years have done countless broadcasts that are both exciting and professional.
Shot, score! Jack Halleck!
I support NCTV's Nantucket Sports Connection because it's a great opportunity to reach island families, support students, and our local television station.
Welcome to July 4th, 2023. It is busy and hot here on Nantucket, and we're gonna go see what people are up to. Everybody seems to be having a lot of fun around here, so let's go. What is your favorite thing about July 4th on Nantucket?
Just the amount of people everywhere. Everyone's really excited, everyone's dressed up. It was super fun.
I would say my favorite thing is the people and the spirit that everyone's just excited to be here and to celebrate, and most importantly to be together.
I'm from London, so this is my second 4th of July ever. Both times I've been on Nantucket, so I'm very grateful to be here.
That's amazing.
A lovely community, everyone is so nice, and yeah, it's really grateful.
And what is the best thing about 4th of July on Nantucket?
Nothing. It's pretty insane here, so I try to avoid.
You feel like it's actually July 4th. The celebration feels like very visceral.
Making more money while working.
It used to be when I was a kid, the fireworks. But for now, oh, wow. Going to the beach if I can.
Oh, I just love it. It's such an old-fashioned part of America here. I just love anything that happens on Main Street. We come down for, and usually for the water fight, I bring a bucket in previous years. But this year I understand that it's a little more low-key, so I enjoyed it just the way it was.
And what's your favorite 4th of July tradition on Nantucket?
The water fight.
The water fight, of course, and watching the line of Juice Bar the whole day. It's pretty great. We got all these people waiting for their 4th of July ice cream.
And we have a trivia question, if you're willing to answer. What year was the Declaration of Independence signed?
1776.
1776.
1776?
1776.
You're correct. Great job. Good job! Yes! How many original colonies were there?
13.
13?
Correct. Good job.
There were 13 colonies that became states.
Correct. See? Bottom Max is a history major in college.
Yes, I am. That serves me well. Here I am.
Here you are. Well, that was another fun 4th of July in Nantucket. I'm going to go jump in the ocean now because it's really hot out here. Bye! Thanks for watching!
Welcome back to John J. O'Neill Gymnasium here on Nantucket. Whalers start off with the ball here in the third quarter in a 19-7 lead over Rising Tide. As we are underway, Nantucket in white headed left to right. That three ball by Maddie Lombardi, no good. Ball goes out of bounds, and it will go the way of Rising Tide. So Nantucket outscoring, well, the Herons only had 2 points in that second quarter. Ludvigsen has 6 total. Maddie Lombardi has 5 total. Mooney, Garcia, Brannigan, and Canty each added 2 points in that first half. As the pass is intercepted, here's Lombardi all alone down the right-hand side. The layup is good. And Nantucket starts off the third quarter as they finish the first half. Now up 21-7 over Rising Tide. And it's been the stifling defense of Nantucket and just the missed opportunities by Rising Tide in the first half that gave Nantucket that big lead. And we've got a whistle now. And a violation, looked like maybe a 5-second violation. So another turnover, and Nantucket will have it going the other way. I'm DC Collins, along with Chris Morris, Charles Douglas, Sean Davis, and my partner here up in the bleachers, Colby Lucas. His game got postponed today because of the boat cancellations as Ludvigson takes it in, throws up a shot, no good. So he is here helping us out before you got to practice this afternoon, right,
Right
this
after.
evening?
Yep.
Right after? Okay.
Right after.
So you're already here, so Coach can't complain that you're late.
Nope.
And a whistle and another timeout called by Rising Tide. That only leaves them with 2 for the rest of the game. Whalers still with all 5. We'll keep it right here. 6:44 to go in the third quarter. And the Whalers up 21-7 over Rising Tide. We've got your game coming up, Colby, next Tuesday.
Yep.
Against Nauset, 5 o'clock for the tip-off here on NCTV and the NSC. We've got the girls back in action 2 games in a row, Friday and Saturday. 5 o'clock tip-off against Sturgis East on Friday for the girls basketball team here on NCTV and the NSC. And then Saturday, a matinee 12:30 tip-off as the Nantucket girls basketball team will take on Martha's Vineyard. Saturday, 12:30, right here on NCTV and the NSC. And we certainly thank all our sponsors and thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday evening. So after the timeout, Rising Tide will have it. 23 on the shot clock, 6:44 to go in the third. Herons only left with 2 timeouts, and they trail 21-7 right now. So they will inbound in the front court. Here's Picard. Gets it back to Mason. Mason gets double teamed as she picks up the dribble. Now to Fillion. Now back over to Picard. She'll fire the 3. That one rattles off the rim, no good. Rebound pulled in by Myers. Myers full steam ahead for Nantucket into the front court. Myers hands it off to Lombardi. Now in the corner, Ludvigson drives, right baseline, throws up the floater. Side of the rim, no good. Offensive rebound, no, by Myers. Ludvigson again, left elbow jumper. That one too strong, no good. Offensive rebound, though. Myers puts it up, no good. Gets the rebound, puts it back up and in. Wow, 4 straight opportunities for Nantucket. Great job of crashing the boards.
Yeah, I mean, those second chance points are just huge.
Herons do not have an answer as they have the basketball moving right to left in the blue jerseys and a traveling violation against Rising Tide. So we will go the other way.
Yeah, the Whalers moving past the, just picking up at half court, but certainly not letting up pressure once they get past half court. Definitely keeping up that defensive intensity. You like to see it.
2-3 zone defense by Rising Tide. Here's Ludvigson. Guarded there by Mason. Gets it off. Lombardi will try a 3. Front of the rim, no good. Battle for the rebound. Pulled in by Mason. Gets tied up momentarily, trying to get away, and a whistle and a double dribble. She just had nowhere to go, and the rest of her teammates for Rising Tide didn't come to the ball to try to help her.
Yeah, when the press comes, you have to come to the ball, or else those turnovers are just going to, keep piling it up. Good pressure there by Nantucket.
Here's a 3. Ludvigson. That rims out, no good. Again, an offensive rebound, though, by Myers. And that shot thrown up there by Tavares. That's no good. Offensive rebound. Mooney puts up a shot. That's no good. But she gets fouled and will go to line to shoot 2. Again, 3 straight second chance opportunities for Nantucket.
Yeah, that's, again, I mean, you can't stress it enough. I mean, those second chance opportunities lead to points, and I think, moving forward, the Whalers are going to face some more tough teams, but if they can get those offensive rebounding, pretty sharp, I think they can be a problem.
And that's definitely helped them out in the last game and this game too, building on the confidence. First free throw is no good by Mooney. She'll get one more. The foul was called against Fillion, her first, team's first. Second one rattles through. So now a 24-7 lead for the Whalers. here with 5:20 remaining in the third quarter. Again, some backcourt pressure by Nantucket. Barry up ahead to Miranda. Miranda into the front court, guarded by Lombardi. Ball goes out of bounds. Another turnover by Rising Tide, and Nantucket will have it.
Again, I sound like a broken clock here, but I mean, Whalers just playing some great half-court defense, continuing the pressure, and it's good to see.
Ludvigsen with it. Now Lombardi has it beyond the arc on the left-hand side. Nantucket using a little extra time off the shot clock now that they've got this comfortable lead. Here's the three. That one bangs out, no good by Lombardi. Whistle, jump ball. Possession arrow points the way of the Herons. Herons have yet to score here in the third quarter. They only scored 2 points in that second quarter. And the Whalers with the pressure in the backcourt once again. Inbounds pass, and Lombardi bumped Miranda. But they'll say last touch by Lombardi. And so Rising Tide will have it. Pass up ahead, knocked away, and it's taken away by Lombardi. Lombardi has it, over to Mooney, drives right baseline, puts the shot up that short, gets the offensive rebound though, and gets fouled. And they will call that against Miranda. Her second personal, team second. Nantucket will inbound with a fresh 35 on the shot clock. To the corner, three by Schroeder. Rattles around, off the rim, no good. Offensive rebound, though, by Mooney, and she gets fouled once again. Nantucket just dominating the rebound category here this evening.
Absolutely. And, you know, the threes aren't falling as much this game, but I really like the looks they're getting. If they can keep getting these looks, they're going to fall. Trust me.
Again, that three no good. Rising Tide does collect the rebound, though, and a foul will be called this time against Nantucket. That's their first here in the third quarter. Goes against Mooney, her first, team's first. Backcourt pressure, again being installed by Nantucket. Inbounds pass goes to Barry. Cross court now to Mason. Mason guarded by Lombardi. Mason in the front court. Coming over to help out is Tavares on defense. That three is thrown up there by Hurst. Back iron no good. Offensive rebound no good. And here's Lombardi with the rebound for Nantucket. Up ahead to Schroeder, the freshman. Schroeder with it. Now gives it off to Lombardi. Top of the key for three. Left it short, no good. Barry grabs the basketball. Whistle, jump ball. And Nantucket will have it. 24-7, Whalers on top here in the third quarter with 3:53 remaining. Inbounds pass. Mooney's shot no good and out of bounds. Last touch by the Herons. Whalers led 19-7 to start the third quarter. So they've been on a mini 5-0 run. But as we talked about, Rising Tide only able to score 2 points, and that was within the last minute of the second quarter. That three ball rims out. Offensive rebound, though. Nice putback right there by Mooney. And the lead goes up to 26-7 in favor of Nantucket. Here's Barry in the front court to Mason. Mason back over to Barry. She'll fire the three off the glass and good. And Barry couldn't believe it herself as Rising Tide gets on the board with 3:20 to go here in the third quarter. And they cut the deficit to 16 points. And a whistle and a foul against Mooney. And so Rising Tide will get the basketball. Canty will check back in, the freshman for Nantucket. Also Garcia back in the ball game. Mooney and Myers check out. Here's backcourt pressure for Nantucket. Stymied Rising Tide all day, and the ball was touched out of bounds by Mason. Her foot was on the sideline, so another turnover, and the Whalers will get it. Lombarded inbound to Tavares. Now the three off the front of the rim, no good. Tavares grabs the offensive rebound, though. Fresh shot clock for Nantucket. Back to Schroeder. Her three is up and good. The freshman connects. Whalers up by 19, and Lombardi almost steals it again as it's knocked out of bounds. You see on the replay right here, Schroeder wide open beyond the arc and drills it from downtown.
And again, we've been saying it all day. They've been getting really good looks, haven't been falling, but as you can see there, they're going to fall. And, just getting those shots up is really important.
And I think Schroeder, the freshman, just an extra half or 3/4 of a second of just holding onto the ball and eyeing it up. Nantucket's getting good looks, but they're still rushing the shot.
Right.
Even though a defender from Rising Tide is nowhere near them, they just feel that anticipation like, I got to put it up, I got to put it up.
Yeah, I think Schroeder's shot is very similar to Lombardi's. There you go again.
Bingo, she hits again, 6 straight points for the freshman. And Nantucket has opened a 22-point lead over Rising Tide with 2:30 remaining here in the third quarter. It's now the Whalers 32 and the Herons 10.
I think both Schroeder and Lombardi have a very, calm approach to shooting. Take their time, get a good shot up instead of rushing it,
Here's Garcia. Her shot is partially blocked. And so coming the other way is Rising Tide with it. 11-3, Nantucket has outscored Rising Tide here in the third. Bounce pass, knocked away. Shot thrown up, it rattles home. Good job there by Barry. And so the Herons now down by 20 points. Schroeder has it, the freshman, front court. Over to Tavares. Still a 2-3 zone defense by Rising Tide. Lots of movement on the baseline by Nantucket. That shot way short. Rebound, though, taken away. Good job by Garcia. Over to Tavares. Left elbow, she stops with it. Back to Garcia. Schroeder thought about the three. Now to Lombardi. She will throw up the three. Too strong off the backboard and the side of the rim. Rising Tide with the rebound. 1:20 to play here in the third quarter. Poked away by Lombardi. That goes out of bounds, though, and Rising Tide will still have it. A couple of substitutions for both teams. 1:17 left in the third, 32-12. Whalers up by 20 points. 3 fouls committed by the Herons here in the third quarter, only 2 by the Whalers. All 5 timeouts left for Nantucket, 2 left for Rising Tide. They had to use a few in the first half after Nantucket was about to run away with it. Barry travels with the basketball as she gets caught in the backcourt. Again, good defense by Brannigan.
Yeah, they're not stopping, obviously, pulling back, not full court pressing, but still keeping that intensity up, playing great defense.
And again, Canty had it, a good look, but rushed the shot from the right baseline.
Yeah, that extra, half a second, maybe not even, maybe, a quarter of a second makes a big difference.
Or take it and drive it to the hoop.
Exactly.
That shot a little rush too by Mooney, goes off the rim, but Nantucket grabs the offensive rebound. There's a shot thrown up there by Mansfield. That one no good. And the ball goes out of bounds as touching it on the sideline was Hurst. So Whalers have it. Lombardi to inbound. 50 seconds remaining in the third. Lombardi will throw up the three. That one bounces out, no good. Offensive rebound put up there by Canty, no good. But she gets fouled. That'll be the fourth team foul against Rising Tide. And Picard picks up the personal. That's her first. Quinn Canty, number 24, the freshman for the Whalers at the line. First one off the side of the rim, no good. Again, Canty just even rushing the free throw attempt a little bit too. Next one rolls off the front of the rim. Rising Tide with the rebound and a reach-in foul. This will be whistled against Mansfield. And so that's her first, team's third. And Rising Tide will inbound on the backcourt. And they'll wait a moment as Barry ties her shoe for Rising Tide. Again, we've got another girls basketball game for you on Friday, 5 o'clock tip-off here at John J. O'Neill Gym, as the girls will take on Sturgis East, and then they're back at it on Saturday, 12:30 against the Vineyard. Both of those games here on NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection. Next game for the boys basketball team will be a week from today, Tuesday, February 4th, against Nauset. 5 o'clock for the tip-off here on the NSC at NCTV. Knocked out of bounds, so Nantucket will have it. Shot clock turned off. 28 seconds to go in the third. And Nantucket outscoring Rising Tide 13-5 here in the third so far. Looking to put the finishing touches on the third quarter. Down to 16 seconds to play. Lombardi wide open for three. Lines that up, and it's perfect. Lombardi drains the three. And Nantucket now with their biggest lead of the ball game, 35-12. Just 2 seconds to go in the quarter. Rising Tide isn't aware of it. And a whistle, and let's see if the foul was called before the buzzer. They'll call a push. That's only the fourth foul. And it looks like the officials will say end of the quarter. So we will take a break and be back with the final 8 minutes here from Nantucket. Whalers rolling along 35-12. They lead Rising Tide. Back with the fourth quarter after this on NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection.
NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
Back here at John J. O'Neill Gymnasium, Nantucket with a 35-12 lead over Rising Tide. 8 minutes up on the board. We start the fourth quarter. Nantucket outscoring Rising Tide 16-5 in the third. We've got a pretty comfortable lead here as the ball goes out of bounds, and Nantucket will have it. So Maddie Lombardi certainly showing her impact. She had 5 points in the first quarter, 5 points in the third quarter. She leads all scores for Nantucket with 10. Ludvigsen with 6. Also Schroeder with 2 threes in that third with 6 points as well. And Mooney's got 5 as that one rolls off the rim. And so Lombardi will get it back. Offensive rebound. Here's Garcia. Back iron, no good. Garcia grabs the rebound though. Lombardi has it. Fresh shot clock for Nantucket. That one is no good as Mansfield couldn't connect. And Rising Tide finally grabs the rebound. So you could tell, Colby, that on Saturday, I mean, Hull just a much bigger team, a little more physical team, dominated Nantucket. They were without Lombardi. They were without Lombardi yesterday too, but still managed to adjust without her in the lineup and win that game by 8 points over Cape Cod Academy. Here I think they're thankful to have her back for this game today.
Yeah, absolutely. Lombardi just playing an overall great game today, both on the offensive and defensive end. I mean,
and proof right there as she trains another 3.
I mean, she's been really solid from beyond the arc today, so great return from her.
13 points for Lombardi. And now a whistle and a foul. And let's see who they call this one on. It's against Picard. So Garcia will go to the line for Nantucket to shoot 2. First free throw, side of the rim, no good. And Mooney will check back in along with Ludvigsen. Brannigan and Canty head to the bench. Next free throw, that rattles out, no good. Offensive rebound sent right back up, that time by Lombardi, no good. Another opportunity, that's no good. And a kickball violation against Rising Tide, so the Nantucket Whalers will have it. As Mad Myers is in and Garcia will head to the bench. Whalers 38, Herons 14, 6:27 left in the fourth quarter. Whalers with a record of 4-3 coming in. Here's Lombardi again. Front of the rim, no good. Rising Tide, 2 wins, 6 losses coming into tonight's contest. Ludvigsen with a nice move. Throws that shot up short, though. And Rising Tide has the rebound. Trying to push it ahead. This is Dylan Mason. Up ahead this time to Miranda. Miranda throws up a shot, no good. Bodies hit the floor, out of bounds. Nope, they'll call a foul on the floor. That's against Myers. Foul was on the floor. And so a fresh shot clock for Rising Tide. Both teams with 1 foul here in the 4th. Inbounds pass, layup, that's no good by Miranda. Back out to Mason. That one goes off the glass and the rim, no good. Rebound by the Whalers, 3-on-1 if they hurry. This is Lombardi with it. Lombardi taking it all the way, stops though. Gives it back to Myers. Here's a 3 by Mooney. That one misses everything and will go out of bounds, and Rising Tide will have it. So Julian Fraker, the newly installed head coach as of a few games ago for Nantucket, I think realizes her team's up 38-14 right now. Just slow it down.
Right, yeah, they've definitely, held off a little bit here.
Layup, that time by Mooney, rolls around the rim and falls out. Stays with Nantucket, though. Yeah, right now it's about patience. It's about fundamentals, and more importantly, with the lead this size, 24 points, nobody get hurt.
Absolutely.
As Ludvigsen connects from the left elbow for 2, and that makes it 40-14. Ludvigsen scores her first 2 points. She had 6. They all came in the first quarter. So she's back in the scoring column as that layup is no good by Mason. And a whistle and jump ball situation. Whalers have it. Lombardi the inbound to Ludvigsen as Rising Tide will back up on defense. Down to 5 minutes to play in the 4th. Whalers 40, Rising Tide 14. It was 19-7 at halftime. And now a 3-second violation, I believe, is called against the Whalers. Whalers back here on Friday, 5 o'clock tip-off against Sturgis East. We'll have it for you here on NCTV and the NSC. Saturday, 12:30 against the Vineyard, right here on NCTV and the NSC, and also on YouTube. And then the boys basketball team will take on Nauset at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, next Tuesday, February 4th, right here on NCTV and the NSC as well.
Whalers not slowing down on defense here, continuing the full court press. Wonder if they're just trying to get used to it for the games coming up.
Well, this could definitely be effective. We talked about it last game against Cape Cod Academy. They employed this full court press, and that worked. Again, Cape Cod Academy, though, only dressed 6 players. Against Hull, it didn't work whatsoever.
Right.
Hull figured it out last Saturday afternoon after about the 2nd or 3rd time and said, all right, we're just going to send somebody long. And they would get trapped in the backcourt, but spring somebody loose in the front court, have enough steam on it to get into the front court, and there was nobody back for Nantucket. So that's something you always have to be aware of. Just like that right here. Again, Rising Tide had nobody back, and here's a layup opportunity for Tavares. And Manny Tavares connects for 2 more. Tavares gets 2 points here in the 4th in the scoring column. 4 minutes to play, and a 42-14 lead for the Whalers. Here's a 3-ball, and that one goes off the glass and the backboard. This is Maggie Mason in. Layup, too strong, no good. Gets her own rebound, though. Gets triple team, dribbles out of it. And now over to Miranda. Now to Mason. That shot, side of the rim, no good. Myers hauls in the rebound. Now we'll give it off to Lombardi, who was slowly dribbled across the timeline. 3:30 to go in the 4th. Here's a 3-ball, and that one way off the mark by Mansfield, out of bounds, and the Herons will get it. So we know your next game here for our broadcast is Tuesday the 4th against Nauset, which we'll have. When's your next game off island?
Our next game off island is on Thursday. We're playing Bourne. That's going to be a tough matchup. Lost the first game against Bourne by, I believe, 13, could be wrong, but we played them tight. I mean, they were the state runner-up last year, so tough team.
And that's this Thursday.
That's this Thursday, yep.
Okay, coming up off island, boats permitting.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be tough to have 2 cancel in a week, but winds are pretty bad as of right now.
I don't know how old you were back then, but about 10 years ago we had blizzard after blizzard after blizzard. It seemed anytime there was a game scheduled, there was boats canceled, and I think there was one of the winter sports teams, and something I think about 15 or 16 days in between games that they could play just because of the weather, but you can't control that.
Yep.
So it's good to see that you guys will have a game on Thursday, and then we'll have your game here at home on Tuesday against Nauset at 5 o'clock.
That'll be a good one.
Subs in as Nantucket has a 44-16 commanding lead over Rising Tide. Trying to improve on their 4-3 record. Rising Tide 2-6 coming into tonight's contest. 2:21 to go in the fourth. Nantucket with the ball up 44-16. Here's Tavares inside the three-point arc. That jumper no good. Back iron. Ball batted around. Tavares gets the rebound. Back to Schroeder. The freshman will try another three. That hits the back of the rim and goes out. And chased down there by Rising Tide. Miranda with it. Pass up ahead. Intended for Mason. Intercepted. Nantucket has it. Here's Tavares with a breakaway. Left-hand side. Stops. Goes up with a little bunny. That's no good. Gets the rebound, though. Tries to kick it back out. That's taken away by Mason. Battle for it underneath, and a whistle and a foul. And that will go against Marin Mooney. So Rising Tide will get the ball with 1:45 remaining. In the front court, it's Miranda with it. Loose ball in the lane. Who's got it? Still on the floor. Picked up by Nantucket. They're going to call a traveling violation, though, as Mooney tried to get up before she put the ball on the floor. Stay tuned after the game. We will talk with head coach Jillian Fraker of Nantucket. Hope to have a player of the game as well. And that shot is short. Another shot by Rising Tide. That's no good. And a whistle and a foul, a reach-in foul against Nantucket. And right now, if we can, I'd say we get Maddie Lombardi, leading scorer for Nantucket. She was out the last 2 games. We'll check and see how she's feeling and how it feels to be back on the court as well.
Yeah. Big return for her. I mean, she's just had such a presence, not even just offensively, but defensively. Just playing that leadership role is huge.
You know, we talked to the coaches before the game, too, and they said, hey, listen, we're really going to miss her presence on the bench.
Yeah.
Because especially last game against Cape Cod Academy, you know, she was pointing out picks and screens and everything else like that. But I think they'd much rather have her on the court.
Yeah, absolutely.
If she's able to be on the court, which fortunately for Nantucket she was today. But that's what seniors do. They lead on the court and when they're on the bench as well, being pretty vocal. As we're down to 48 seconds to play, Nantucket with a 44-16 lead over Rising Tide. Outscoring Rising Tide 9-4 here in the fourth quarter. As Mooney throws up the shot, that's an air ball, goes out of bounds. And so Rising Tide will have it with 31 seconds on the clock. So here is Picard up to Mason. Mason with the bounce pass to Miranda. She'll fire the three, and that one is off the mark, no good. Nantucket has it. Outlet pass, wide open. Schroeder, the freshman, and the layup is good. And that'll cap off a big win for Nantucket as they're up by 30 points, 46-16. In the front court, here's Mason, fires the three, and that will do it. Final score this afternoon from John J. O'Neill Gymnasium. Nantucket 46, Rising Tide 16. We will take a quick break and be back. Talk with head coach Jillian Fraker and hope to have Maddie Lombardi with us as well. 46-16, Nantucket wins it by 30. We are back after this on NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection.
The Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank its founding sponsor, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, whose mission is to promote the positive development and enrichment of Nantucket's children. For more information on the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, go to nantucketgolfclub.com.
Support for the NSE provided in part by Highline Cruises, providing year-round high-speed service to Nantucket since 1996. For more info, visit highlinecruises.com.
Support for the NSC provided in part by Myrick O'Connell, attorney at law, providing legal services for Massachusetts residents for over a century. Learn more at myrickoconnell.com. NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection would like to thank our Nantucket business sponsors for their support of today's Whalers broadcast.
Broadcast that premieres once a week during the school year. We have just begun our second season and our first 5 episodes are up and ready to watch. We cover everything from school news updates, arts and entertainment, sports, and weather.
Weather Word is a student-run production that meets before and after school.
We do our own writing, filming, and editing, you name it.
Please make sure to check us out on the Nantucket High School YouTube channel and our Instagram at Whaler_Word.
Catch a glimpse of everyday life at the school by watching Whaler Word.
You won't be disappointed.
We look forward to providing you with weekly updates and news. Until next time, remember, stay informed, stay inspired, and most importantly, stay connected, Whalers!
Whistle.
The board of Nantucket Youth Lacrosse and the coaches are wildly passionate about the sport of lacrosse and teaching it to Nantucket's kids. I'm Gary McCarthy, president of Nantucket Youth Lacrosse. The dedication of not only the players but the parents and coaches to running this program is really inspiring.
So what I love about the Learn to Play program is when I show up every day, the kids are coming smiling and all they want to do is have fun.
This is my 3rd year coaching the girls Learn to Play lacrosse team here. What I really like about it is that for those that are newer to sports, they're learning leadership skills, team building, communication. They're learning not only just how to pick up and pass and catch and shoot in lacrosse. There's so much more to be gained.
The beauty.
Back here at John J. O'Neill Gymnasium on NCTV and NSC, I'm DC Collins. Thanks for joining us. Big win for the Whalers, 46-16 over Rising Tide, as it's 2 in a row for the Whalers as we welcome in head coach Jillian Fraker. Hey, another big win today. It looks like yesterday you guys were slow and sluggish to start against Cape Cod Academy. Started that way again in the first quarter, but something about the second quarter where I don't know, do the girls just wake up? Is it a magic potion? What is it that gets them the catalyst for the second, third, and fourth quarter?
We're just still trying to work on not going at the speed of the other team. So we started to play our game just like yesterday, and then it turned it around.
Saw a lot of the backcourt pressure again, which really Rising Tide had a really tough time navigating. Double team trapping as well. Is that something that you guys worked on the past 2 days?
That was definitely a goal of the game.
Now, the star that you have next to us, our star of the game, Maddie Lombardi, she was out got injured on Friday. You said to us in the pregame, hey, she's great on the bench. We miss her on the bench, but I guess it's a lot easier when she's out playing for you and scoring points.
Yeah, we're really happy to have her back. It showed tonight her leadership, not just in scoring points, but everything.
Maddie, you can step in if you want. So you had a tough time on Friday. You obviously weren't there on Saturday. You saw the team struggle against Hull. You saw them win yesterday. What does it feel like sitting on the bench, but finally able to get back on the court for the past couple of series?
Yeah, it's definitely hard sitting on the bench and watching everybody play because I love playing. But I think I really helped bring the energy to the bench and did all I could to contribute to the team. So being on the bench, I just got everybody energized and it felt good. And then once I finally got back, it's just getting back in the groove.
First question I should have asked is, how are you feeling physically and mentally?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. Does it feel a lot better to get back out on the court, too? You feel like you have a career in assistant coaching, possibly?
Who knows? I love the game, but we'll see.
Leading scorer with double digits. What's the plan for the rest of the season right now? You've got a big game against Sturgis East coming up on Friday.
Just keep pushing, keep the intensity up, and play my game. Keep shoot shots when shots are open.
Coach, what can you take away, too, from the last two games where decisive victories? It was an 8-point win against Cape Cod Academy, but obviously you guys were the better team. Here you were the better team against Rising Tide. Just ask Maddie about Sturgis East coming in. I know you want to celebrate this game as well, but what does that look like coming up on Friday for you guys?
Again, working on our mental game, starting out intense, bringing the defense just as the offense. So you just got to play our game.
And you had contributions from almost everybody on the bench today as well. That makes you pretty happy.
That's what's going to make us win, is when the whole team is involved. And that's what we're going to do.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. Good luck. 2 in a row. Thank you. Maddie Lombardi, Coach Jillian Fraker. They are joining us here in the post-game show as Nantucket has a convincing victory this afternoon and this evening, 46-16 over Rising Tide. Again, we've got their game coming up on Friday, 4:45 approximately for the pregame show, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time for the tip-off as the Nantucket Whalers girls basketball team will take on Sturgis East. Then on Saturday, big rivalry game against the Vineyard, 12:30 for the tip-off. Both of those games can be seen right here on NCTV and the Nantucket Sports Connection. I want to thank all of our sponsors for bringing you this broadcast this evening on NCTV and the NSC. Also want to thank our partners, Sean Davis behind the camera right here, Chris Morris, who is spinning the dials, and also Charles Douglas, and my partner Colby Lucas, who has practice right now. That's why he's not with us. The boys team getting ready to practice this evening here on John J. O'Neill Court. I'm DC Collins. Final score for the final time tonight, 46-16. The Nantucket Whalers defeat Sturgis East. Thanks for joining us. Our next broadcast, Friday, 5 o'clock, Nantucket girls basketball against Sturgis East. Nantucket beat Rising Tide tonight. I'm getting all confused. Time for us to sign off. We thank you for joining us. And Whalers Nation, have a great evening.